I can't believe he's doing this to me right now. I feel like I have to stop and enjoy it. He's never, ever in a million years done this before.
I study horses, beauty matched only by their strength. I try and capture a little of that as I move on without your face.
We're here a little bit with Larry, the draft horse, who is a really good teacher because he's got a variety of issues that all kind of culminate in less than perfect behavior, and he's so big that it doesn't take a whole lot for him to make his point.
I see days my star in the darkness. It's what lasts what they'll tell my out of me. If the land goes free like a bird, what's what it is.
It's a psychological game and a physical game because one, he's uncomfortable, two, he doesn't like it. So he's got attitude and he's uncomfortable. And then he's also big and strong and heavy, so while your muscles are shaking, you gotta take into account how you could help him. One thing that I do that helps is I come into them, but not with malice, but with like aggressive affection. Exactly, killing them with kindness. Yeah. And then also what differentiating between behavior and discomfort, so we don't go into abuse where we punish him for something that he is a victim of, in a sense. We want to make it a good experience. Anyway, he's really good feedback.
Was I the numbers had I always rain?
We're in a pretty safe environment with all of us here. He's actually a really good horse, and he just makes his point, and we just have to deal with it. So it improves our horsemanship a ton, just by virtue of having to deal with his idiosyncrasies. Okay, here we go. The cross tie come off?
He shook and the leader came off.
Oh. Love you, buddy. Normally, this would make him like back away. Literally. Pretty quickly, too. And I can't believe he's doing this to me right now. I feel like I have to stop and enjoy it. He's never, ever in a million years done this before. And I've worked this horse since he hated chewing. And then he stood well for it one day, and now he's got his nose on my cheek. That's a good omen. It's a good day. All right, we're making a lateral support shoe utilizing the ideas of ground reaction forces. Well, how that idea started, right? It's older than I know of, but it was made popular, I believe, by a French veterinarian named Jean-Marie Denois, who studied a lot on, he called it ground reaction forces, which is the interaction of a surface to another surface, or the bottom of the foot to the ground, basically. Hard ground, soft ground, the way forces are dissipated based on how the profile or the ground surface of the shoe or the bottom of the horse's foot, and playing with being able to kind of artificially help the foot land more correctly by playing with the surface area of the shoe in any particular area. So like a wide toe and narrow heels will sink the heel into deformable footing, or wide heels and a narrow toe will sink the toe into deformable footing. In this case, we're trying to help his medial side of his right front sink into deformable footing a little bit more than his lateral side. We're going to make a wide branch that has a lot of ground surface on the lateral side of his right front, and a narrow branch that has less square inches of surface space on the medial side of his left front. So it's actually a fairly widely used shoe and widely used concept where, just like a snowshoe, the wide side floats on top of the deformable footing and the narrow side sinks into the deformable footing or soft surface and helps kind of correct his bone alignment. Of course, nothing matters more than the way we trim, but given that we can only do so much with the trim, the shoe goes on to accomplish those jobs that we can't accomplish with the trim. And this is one of those times. Good job, buddy. All right. I'll bump like 3/4 of an inch into that lateral, and then I'll draw 3/4 out on the medial. So just cut that right front minus 2 inches and leave it unmarked. All right. In case you're wondering, it's good luck to drop the shoe on the ground at least 3 times. So it's totally intentional. Right. It's amazing how when you make your own shoe, you can put your nail holes wherever you want. You have all sorts of room to put nail holes anywhere, but you always end up putting them over the old nail holes, no matter what. And you got your brand new handmade shoe pounding into old nail holes. Whoever's starting out, I just want you to know what happens even to me. So that shoe came out all right. Fit decent, nailed up decent. You know, and one thing I always remember though is when I say that the trim is what matters the most. You know, I could nail an ugly shoe on a really well-trimmed foot and I'd have a great moving horse. But I could nail a beautiful shoe on a poorly trimmed horse, poorly trimmed foot, and a horse might be lame. So it's important, get your foundation, you know, get your trim, think about vertical depth, break over, orienting the capsule around the coffin bone, and then orienting the bone to the other feet, all three of the other feet. And then practice making your shoes, and don't be afraid to just go for it. Nail it on. Your well-trimmed foot will make nailing and shaping so much easier, and the more you practice, the better you get. And all it takes is time. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Do you want to call Brandon Seth and
Hi Trenton. Say hi to everybody. This is our first meeting with Erin Davidson, who's present. Okay, we've introduced Erin. Erin, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I have a lot of different experience between insurance referrals and Illinois authorizations to IT.
Inventory management.
Yeah, inventory management is a big one. I have another job right now that I built their inventory management system, and I did inventory management for my IT job as well. And then it's all the way to event planning, coordinating vendors, and that kind of stuff. It's kind of a wide range.
Yeah, you just happen to have the exact skill sets that we need, and they're kind of quirky, you know? It's not like, you know, little odds and ends here and there.
Yes, I've pieced together a lot.
It's
over
really,
the last few years.
yeah, and it's a good match, so I'm excited.
Having a new office person has been a godsend. Seth and I have been managing the office situation ourselves as sort of a secondary part of our other skill sets, which is not ideal. We found Erin, and she's super qualified to run our HR, manage all of the invoicing, scheduling issues that we have, and also keep track of the LNI safety meetings and take all the minutes and handle our management of what it means to be an LLC.
Your mom,
Yes.
clinic manager at Pilchuck, also a client already.
Yes.
Dr. King's client.
Dr. King's client.
I didn't know until I asked, hey, you know this company, right? They're real? There's so many scams, I wasn't sure.
Totally.
Okay, Seth.
We realized the goal of creating a 401k retirement program for all the full-time employees. This is a big deal for me because one of my goals in the company was to be able to provide farriers things that they don't normally provide themselves, like health insurance and retirement. And you don't even know the number of really high-level farriers that have national recognition and retire in complete poverty. It's a huge goal of mine, and it was an intimidating thing in the outset, but
So we've done a lot of work to figure out how to be that structure for you guys, and it's easy, but it's not.
in 6 weeks, you guys are gonna feel like new farriers, like better farriers, like better was I 6 weeks ago, and this happened for 29 years. I feel like I can forge a better shoe than I could 2 months ago.
You literally came home, yesterday? And you were like, oh, my work's gotten so much better.
No need for support. If you guys want to keep me as like a per diem, I'm fine with that. To be available like weekends or whatever if Delon gets sick, or I'll have like little breaks like spring break, winter break, summer.
I have a feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's awesome.
That's it.
So, this being Lauren's last meeting, I just want to say that we loved having you. You will always have a place here, whatever happens.
Reference.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, seriously, like you've been a stellar employee and you've been an amazing support system for Seth.
Is Lauren, our probably the best assistant we've ever had, is moving on to a different career. And we knew this would happen. We knew this day would come. But she was a good one. She is a good one. She's still generous enough to offer her services, her help on weekends if she doesn't have her other thing going on. And it's hard to let go, I think, for both of us. And I'm secretly kind of hoping that she stays involved at some level always, just because she's really smart, really competent, has great energy. She helped a lot with training Delano, and I think that because she was there to help with that, he got off on the right foot. And those of you who run businesses or are managers understand how important it is for these things to go well in the beginning. So I'm bummed to have Lauren go, but glad that she's not all the way gone.
All right, guys, we'll have a great rest of your day, Trenton.
Yep, thanks.
Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, we're here at Central Washington Equine Hospital for the Farriers Association of Washington State Fall Conference, and they have a speaker, Nigel Fel. He's been a great speaker, very humble, easy to understand, and I'm excited because it's our first time as a group coming to some kind of continuing education, and so I think just being around other farriers for these guys has been good, and getting to talk to other people and get a vibe, and then we see how much of horseshoeing is kind of an international language. And so the things that Nigel did and is doing are very similar to what we all do, and similar goals and approaches, and pretty neat to see. And watching him forge and clinch and all that has given me a lot of inspiration. And I hope maybe you too, you guys.
Well, obviously this is my first clinic for Farriery. It's really interesting to see someone from another country that's accomplished in his field, especially the competition aspect of it, how to make shoes look pretty, different ways of finishing, different ways of safing and beveling on the forge. One thing that I really thought was informational was his way of clinching, hammer clinching. I don't think I'll be there by tomorrow, but something to think about especially. But it's a good experience so far.
I think the biggest thing for me is just been good to see that there's less of a gap than we think there is when it comes to what we do versus a lot of guys that are in the competition side. There's not as big a bridge as we think there is, so I think it's good to keep in mind that while there are some differences, there's a lot more similarities, and the standard that you hold yourself is still there. It's just there in a different way, but it's still there.
So same here with Delano. It's my first Farrier conference. I think it's been great just to see how different people do it, just slightly or drastically. But yeah, it's been great just to see that we're all in it for the common purpose of making a strong, robust foot that is sound. We want to make the horse better than we found it, right? And so yeah, it's been great in that way, and it's been great just to connect with these people and just get to know them better and just become a stronger team, basically.
Well, for our first team building continuing ed, I think it was a success. I feel like it was good traveling with you guys. We talked a lot in the truck. There's a lot to talk about on the way back.
I was not there.
Well, it was a good chance for us all to be together, and there's a lot of good aspects, being seen as a team, and the idea of our business getting out there, but then get a chance to come together and spend the weekend learning. It's been good getting to know you guys better and be tight, do some good business. You guys ready to go back to work on Monday? Absolutely. All right, let's go home.